ああ。
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
ああ、地下に突き落とされた続きか。屋根裏か。
After Sam died, my mom
待って。
and Edie
戻ってんねんけど。
got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
これさ、なってるわ。ああ。グレゴリー。あ、怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い。顔怖っ。顔怖っ。
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
え。
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
おおベイビー化した。赤ちゃん化しちゃった俺。あ、ちょっとなんか勝手に動いてね。あ、そっか。ゼンマイか。
That time's over, Gregory. It's time to. Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
カエル操作できるの謎。
He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
ああ。おお。わお。あ、これむずくね。あの文字のところまで行くってこと。ああ。いやー。あ、いたいたいたいた。てかこの風呂なかなかエグくない？浴槽しかなくて窓で閉じ込められてるって。
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
ああ。ああ。
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
ああ、なるほどね。これで溺れちゃったんか。 グレゴリー。
Hey, there's so much I don't understand. About Gregory,
いやいや、カエル化したけど。
about everything.
I'm Frog。これお風呂の中？
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
あ
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too.
あ。
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
1歳か。グレゴリー1歳か。そりゃなるわな。溺れちゃうわ。
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
結婚式はやめとけってずっと言ってた人？
Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
どうすればいいの？
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. You may subscribe.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here.
Come
But Gus
here.
declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
おい、中指立ててるって。あかんあかんあかん。
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
うん。下か。
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
やばいやばいやばい。おう。あの日あなたの。おう。オーマイガー。
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam.
うおい。
But I didn't. Until we found you.
ああ。めっちゃ不自然な動きしとったけど、飛んできたぶつかって死んだのね。
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
なんかこいつ鶏みたいな頭してるな。 家にこれなんて言うんやっけ、ロッククライムじゃなくてパントマイムじゃなくてなんだっけ、あれ登るやつ忘れた。どこ行けばいいこれ。こっちか。
こんにちは。
あ、こんにちは。こんにちは。誰や。今開きますんでね。あ、ベルさん、こんにちは。どこ行くんやこれは。やばい。
ホラゲ。
ホラゲかもしれない。かもしれないゲー。若干ホラー要素あるけどそんなにホラーでもない。どっかにセーブ入った。上か。やっぱりこれ登るんか。登れるやん。
My mom moved up to the loft after
な
her
んとも
brothers
言えない
died.
やつね。
マジでなんとも言えん。
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
これなんて言うんやっけ、忘れた。
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
サンジェイ。でもこれ有料ゲーやからね、めっちゃ安かったけど。
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was
イ
born a
ン
year
ドで英
later.
語。ルイス。ルイスキャニー。
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last.
でもこんなゾンビがバーンとか
The
出て
beginning
く
of
る
the
ホ
end
ラー
was
ではない
Milton's
から。
10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
バイオハザードみたいなやつではない。覗いちゃおう。
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
危ない。入れるやん。あー、なるほどね。天体観測。
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
魔法の絵筆。こっちか。あー、えぐ。 絵の中入っちゃったけど。え、それで
I was
死ん
4 when Milton disappeared.
それで死んだんですか。なかなかえぐいけど。絵の中に入って死んだ。ワンチャン生きてんじゃん、ミルトンだけは。
Mom spent
精
months
神と時
searching
の
for
部
my
屋行ってる
brother.
説。
Then she sealed the doors.
あれ今ここ光ってなかった。こっから出るんかまた。
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
ここだけは入るなって言われとったのね。入っちゃうよーん。え、入られん。
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
え、こいつ FPS してたんとちゃうんか。 WASD 光ってんぞこいつ。マジで APEX しとったなてめえ。ヘッドホンまでつけてデュアルモニターええじゃんからが。こいつパソコンの中入って知って
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
But he found something more.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
なんかドラクエみたいにどんどん人増えていってる
And
けど。
songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
バンド決定。
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him
気づいた。
that
何
all
に
the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
ああ、気づいちゃったな。
He held an election for mayor,
自分が王様になれると。
and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
セントルイス。
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
あ、なんだ
The queen was on her own quest for radiant
光り
rainbows.
輝く虹を探しているという。おう。やめろ、その先は地獄だぞ。
He followed the sound of her
こっちこっちこっち。銀のハープをたどった。
silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
あれからね、2人の子供の死をね、目の当たりにした。で、もう一人は、なんかね、魔法の筆で描いた絵の中に入り込んで、そっから出てこれんくなって消えた。
He knew the world was all in his
それ
imagination.
で今、もう一人のルイスっていう人の話で、なんか魚の工場の缶詰で働いてて、ずっと
But he was
頭が
so
おかしくなっ
proud
た
of
や
having
つ。
created it.
頭がおかしくなったみたい。
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
この人今ずっと夢見てるの。
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was
魚
overwhelming.
の缶詰の
And then it
作業
struck
しなが
him
ら
that the real Lewis
ずっ
was
と夢
not
見
the
てて
one chopping
夢の
sand,
中で
but the one
王様になっ
climbing
て
the
る。
steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
ああ帰れないでもだいぶ終わりに
He began to forget the world we know.
多分なこの屋敷におった
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the
いろ
cannery
んな
worker.
死に方を見てその真相解明みたいなそういうゲームやと思う。ああここ工場か。ルイ
He
ス
began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
頭おかしくなってるやん。ここどうすればいいこれ。
I still thought I could save him.
それでもまだ救えると。
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
そこにルイス突っ込む。
The palace would be
やめろ。
packed with his companions.
あああやべえなんか夢の国のアトラクション乗ってるみたい。
including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
あーついにルイスが王様になるんか夢の中で。苦しゅうない良きに計
His
らえ。
queen waited, holding his crown.
苦しゅうない苦しゅうないおー良き
There
に
was
計
only one
らえ。
thing left to do.
苦しゅうないぞ。あとすることはただ一つ。王冠もらうだけ。
Bend down his head.
神戸を垂れること。ちょっと待って。これギロチンやん。死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ。
The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
ギロチンチン。
ああ、オーマイガー。結局だからあれでしょ。魚の頭を突っ込むんじゃなくて
My brother was
自分の頭
really cool.
突っ込んで
I wish you could have met
やっ
him.
ちゃったってことでしょ。頭おかしくなって。魚の缶詰作るんじゃなくて自分の缶詰作っちゃった。
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
かわいそうに。
やっちゃったんだ。
On the way back from Lewis's funeral,
ルイスのお
my
葬
mom
式か
told me
ら
to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
でもあと一人二人ぐらいじゃなかったかこれ。エディとダウンやから。あと二人ぐらいや。
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Oh.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Eh, ここエディか。
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
うわー、ついにあの夜のこと。あの夜のこと。
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word.
Edie.
Until supper, when she
Edie
raised
じゃ
her
なくて
glass
イ
and
ディ
said,
や。
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
あー、
Grandma,
なるほど
you
ね。
know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
ちょっと待って。こっから入るんですか。そんな入り口あったんですね。なるほどね。それをお母さんは知らなくて、イーディは持ってた鍵を。あんたが恐れていることは家を出たくならってなくならないよ。どこ行く？エリスにはストーリーを知る権利がある。私の子供たちはそれで死んだのよ。ちょっと待って、これ最後主人公死のオチとかない？全員、そして誰もいなくなったオチない？歩くないかこれ。
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
ありそう。
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I
お
could
前が
tell
生
you.
まれた夜何があっ
There's
たか
only
に。
time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
とてつもない引き潮だった。津波か？
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean.
津波やん絶対。地震
They
があっ
called
て
it
ね。
the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful.
そうそうそう、多分そういうこと。
I've seen that house
で
every
その
day
真
of
相
my life.
を主人公知らなくて、それを知るためにこの家に戻ってきたみたいな。
But I never thought
で
I'd
い
go
よいよ
back
終
to
盤に
it.
差し掛かっていると思う。
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
I lost my way.
I got turned around.
振り向かされ。
I started seeing things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
分かりづれえんだよ。行き道が分かりづれえわ。 存在することさえ忘れていた者たち。
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
ああ、津波の地震が起きた引き潮で
Things I can't explain, but that
昔
I
の
need
家
you
か。
to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
え
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
あ
After that, we moved around a lot.
あ、うん。
We both tried to make the best of it.
なるほどね。おばあちゃん多分あの家に行っちゃったんや
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
な。うん。
She got better for a while.
少しの間良くなるとすぐ悪くなって。ああ、お母さんも
And then I was alone.
死んじゃったー。
The last Finch left alive.
最後の生き残り。
Until I found out about you.
あなたのことを知るまでは。え
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
あなたに何を伝えるべきかまだよくわからない。
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
あなたのためのはずだった。
But now I hope you'll never see it.
でも今はこれを見つけてほしいとは思わない。
I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself.
そしてこれらの物語を自分で伝えたい。
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
そうだね。
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
エイジスも死んでた。なんかめっちゃリアルな写真じゃない？これ実話？なわけないよな。そんな。
あの男の子がジョースター化の最後の生き残りなんね。
ジョースターって誰だまあ生き残りなんやろな。これキャストじゃないわ、デザイナーとか書いてるから、写真実際の
制作陣の子供の頃の写真か。
多分そう。エルビ制作陣の子供の頃の写真出すとかなかなか斬新やな。うわ出た、オルゴールの中に耳入ってるやつや。海外ばっかや。海外のやつな。なあ、オールガール。エディス・フィンチチーム。ジエンド終わったー。やり終えたわ。このゲームをやり終えました。最初に戻ってきた。音でかいんよ。
感想は
まあ感想はですね、とりあえずこのゲーム酔います。操作性はクソ悪いな。走ることもできひんし、歩くことしかできひんし、説明が全然ないから、ボタンの操作とかも自分で手探りしながらやってったから、まあめっちゃ安かったし、そんなもんなんやなと思ったけど、内容はね、 まあまあまあまあそこそこ面白かったと思う。意味わからんすぎて逆におもろかったまである。
ストーリーについて喋れや。
意味わからんすぎて逆におもろかったまである。一人一人の死亡シーンを書いていくだけやからな。ストーリーなんもねえな。だから言うたらこのノートの話でしょ。おすすめはしません。暇つぶしならいいかも。ストーリーを知らなければ。でもまあ良かったんじゃないですかね。APEX よりは面白いです。さてこのゲーム終わったら何しようかな。
見てるだけで十分やな。
いやマジでそう。見るのも辛いぐらいやな。多分普通にねニーヤオートマタとかやってる方が面白いと思う。間違いない。いやまあ俺ニーヤオートマタやったことないんやけど、ニーヤエーペックスするか。
やろっか。
いやニーヤオートマタはちょっと長そうなんでやりたくねっす。もうこの短さでもストーリーで割とお腹いっぱいになったんやけど。ボリュームでかいわ。
一周は短いけど何周もする必要ある。
それはめんどくさいな。嫌だな。もうお腹いっぱいです。ストーリーでは。ちょっとだけやめようかな。エーペックスはもういいや。おもんねえしもうやってないわ。
次のゲームは
次のゲームは何やったっけな。1個買おうかなって思ってたやつあったんやけど、あれなんかめっちゃ鬱になるらしいからちょっと不安なんやけど。なんてゲームやったかな。ホラーゲーみたいな PS4 のやつで。PS4 なんつったっけな。 バイオハザードじゃなくて、何やったっけ。ちょっと待って。と違うよ。あれ、どうやって見るんやったっけ。いいねしたゲームってどうやって見るんやったっけ。忘れた。どうやって見るんだっけ。ライブラリなんかこっから見れた気がする。あった。ザ・タウン・オブ・ライトっていうホラーゲームがあるらしい。めっちゃなんかめっちゃ暗い話らしくて、ちょっとやるかどうか迷ってる。怖いね。
配信待ってる。
怖いね。やるってなったら配信するわ。ふどちゃん来てくれるならやるわ。今日はちょっとエーペックスやろうかな。
時間にもよる。
まあまあまあまあ、来れたらだいたいこの時間やと思うけど。いや、わかんねえ。怖くて昼間にやってるかもしれん。夜にやったら怖いから。いやでも怖いっていうか、なんか鬱になるって言ってたから精神的なあれっぽいからな。昼夜関係ない気もするわ。またやるときは配信しますので。じゃあこのゲームはねこれで終わりということで。
普通に怖そうだった。
いやマジで怖そうやった。それでなんかそのゲームを調べて、そのゲームのなんかこのゲームを購入した人はこういうゲームをプレイしていますみたいな おすすめのやつで出てきたのがこのゲームで、それでやってみた。これはまあまあホラーではない、奇妙ではあるけど、なんかそのザ・タウン・オブ・ライト、タウン・オブ・ライトが本コアやったら、これは世にも奇妙な物語やる。ホラーではないけど気持ち悪いみたいな、奇妙不可解って感じやったの。ほな、配信は終わりますかね。ちょっとエペックスしようかな。おつー、それでは終わりたいと思います。フィンチ家の皆さん、さようなら。